Hey everybody, I'm Natalie Newland, and this is how I became digitally literate. My family used to be a little below the technology curve. For a really long time, I had to print out my homework assignments at the library, and even my grandma had consistent Wi Fi before us. Seriously, when I first got Netflix, I was obsessed and spent hours laying underneath our office desk because I could only get internet on my laptop if I plugged it into our modem. It looked something like this. In school, I had typical typing education and had assignments that required basic computer skills, but nothing super innovative. Despite these factors, I still became digitally literate. I started to wonder how. No one has ever asked me that question before. How do you know what you know? So let's take a look back. I was born in 1996 in the early days of the internet. Growing up, my parents always gave me the freedom to explore my curiosities. I never remember being restricted from playing on the computer or watching TV. I was a lucky kid. I'll fast forward to the defining moment in my journey to becoming digitally literate. When I was in the fourth grade, I signed up for 4-H. I remember my first year I did cooking and consumer clothing. At the fair, I remember seeing the photography projects and thinking I would like to try that. The next summer, we went to Philadelphia and I took our family camera. My first photography project was all the pictures from that trip. A couple Christmases later, my parents bought me my first digital camera. Of course, this was all used for wonderful selfies I posted to my new Facebook account, but I continued to develop this love of photography. In the 8th grade, I had the opportunity to join our middle school yearbook staff. I always loved yearbooks and I wanted to take sports pictures. I even applied to be the sports editor. This was one of the first times I remember going out on a limb and trying something new. I got the position too. I got to use our staff camera to take football pictures and other events. Our yearbook teacher, Mrs. Brown, took us to J Day at Ball State. We took workshops on photography, design, and staff operations. I started to think I would want to do this as a career someday. In 2011, I saved up all my money and bought a Canon Rebel T3 camera. I was so excited at all the opportunities that came with a quality camera and its options. My sophomore year of high school, I joined the yearbook staff. I was the only one really interested in yearbook and pursuing journalism in my grade. Our yearbook staff was behind on a book when I joined, so I had to pick up the slack when needed. I asked a lot of questions and picked up on everything quickly. For 3 years, with the last year being editor-in-chief, yearbook was a huge part of my life. I started falling in love with graphic design and the creative side of journalism. I went to Ball State and started out as a double major in journalism graphics and public relations. Eventually, I settled on public relations as my focus and picked up minors in marketing and professional writing. Through my time in college, I've been teaching myself how to use softwares like InDesign and Illustrator. This has helped me in my classes and in my position as a PR chair for my sorority. You might be wondering, what do all these events have in common? After thinking about my experiences with digital technologies, I realized something. No one really forced me to learn these technologies. I was given a few opportunities, but for the most part, I taught myself how to take photos and use InDesign. I realized that I sought out my opportunities. Your education isn't always going to give you a direct access to technology, and often you're not taught how to use technology to its potential. The big idea here is we can't wait for people to teach us. I am digitally literate because I want to be. I'm not always one to read directions before, but I learn best when I sit down and just figure it out. I have the mindset that I'm going to figure it out, how to do this even if it's in my own way. Technology allows us to do that. Many times people use technology in ways different from the intended design. I can't tell you how many times a day I sit and think I have no idea what I'm doing, but I can use technology to help me. I'm a pretty average person, however, I'm passionately curious. I realized that all these events had led me to where I am today. This sounds silly, but while life is happening, everything seems random, but looking back, everything fits together perfectly. Technology has helped shape me, and my curiosity has allowed me to teach myself, and for that, I am a well-rounded person. The cool thing about literacy is that it evolves. We can continue to become literate every day. The process never stops. Maybe as you get older, it happens at a slower pace, but you will never stop learning and growing as long as you want to.